and welcome to another free.volous episode. It's a gloomy day outside, sorry for the lighting, this is what we have. It's winter time and it's finally getting fresher here in Lisbon. But anyway, today I decided to bring you a bit of a different video, sort of a rundown of my favorite brushes or brush shapes and how I use them, because some of them I don't use how they are advertised in a way, and I wanted to share that with you because maybe you can look into what you already have and give them a new twist and find something different and new to do. Now, I do have many brushes, mainly because I want on one side variety, because my skin is very moody. I don't do my makeup the same way every single day with the same products and everything works out fine. Not only do I like to change things a little bit every now and then, but also I have to adjust to what's happening on my face and how to better deal with blemishes, dark spots, all that beautiful life in my face. So yeah, I like to have different brushes to work for different purposes. With the same product, they can bring you different effects, and some work better with some products for some functionalities, and so on and so forth. So that's one of the reasons. The other one is basically hygiene. I had to adjust the way I wash my brushes to something that would fit the way I want to use my brushes and also my kind of lifestyle. The way that most people do their cleansing of their brushes doesn't fit me. So I had to adjust it in a way. I will talk about it at the end of the video if it's useful for you. I'll leave a timestamp or something and we can go about it at the end of the video. But basically I adjusted my routine, so I need repeats of some brushes to keep them on rotation in a way. Now, that out of the way, when it comes to natural bristles versus synthetic bristles, when it comes to quality, both come in a huge array of qualities, and the price tag doesn't always define the quality of the brush. You are entitled to expecting better of higher priced brushes, but that doesn't mean that some very affordable brushes aren't amazing. And from what I've tried, better, or at least let's say a brush that is 4 times more expensive than another one for the same function doesn't usually perform 4 times better, or you can find ones that don't. So it's give and take, and I know that when it comes to synthetic and naturals, natural bristle brushes are connotated with luxury and more high-end and handcrafted and all that stuff. But I've found several natural bristle brushes that are not that good, and great synthetic ones that are, sometimes also very expensive. Comings and goings. But mostly when it comes to natural versus synthetic bristles, it all comes down to sort of an ethics dilemma. And to be honest, from what I've read and researched and all of that, I can't find a definitive field to stand on or a hill to die on, because on one side, yes, natural bristles come from animals, and we all know they're not running around in the field free and happy, and then once in a while a human comes and combs them and cuddles them and takes out the shedding of their hairs and makes beautiful brushes. That's not how it works. But on the other hand, synthetic bristle brushes are plastic. They're not going to go away. They're not going to biodegrade, nothing like that. So both of them are bad for the planet, for animals, and for us. I don't know what to tell you. Just stick to your guns. Don't come at me. I have a plethora of different types of brushes. Throughout my life, I've gravitated more towards the synthetic brushes, just because overall I can find cheaper ones that are really good, and not as easily with animal bristle ones that are cheaper. Usually they're, for me, a bit harder to find in good quality. But it has changed over the years, technology, advancements, whatever. Anyway, that out of the way, let's jump into the actual brushes. Let's start with foundation brushes because I love my base. You know, foundation is the shiz for me. And the main one, I think, the one that I've been using the most, that I think is has kind of changed the game in a way, is the Kitten Paw brush. And you can see I have two here from two different brands, but they basically have this flat brush but dense brush with a slant that makes it fluffier and has kind of a flat edge that you can use to apply product to your face. This is amazing for foundation. You can swipe, you can dab, you can kind of buff because it's still fluffy enough and still dense enough to help you go streak free without much problem. This is amazing also to use for bronzers and blushes and highlighters in cream and liquid form. These are super versatile. They are small enough where you have some control over the placement. You can thin out in some areas, pack on in others. They're really versatile. And also I love them for powder, pressing powder. If you are oily like me and you have larger areas where you want to pack on powder, just press it on. These can pick up powder very evenly and press it on without making it too cakey. So these are amazing and super versatile. The ones that I have here, just so you know, this is by BK Beauty. BK Beauty has been very viral and all that, and actually their brushes are absolutely phenomenal. And this is their classic 109 brush, which is this size and shape. And this one is by Sephora. It's a Sephora Pro brush in 47. And it's basically the same thing. It's just a matter of, BK Beauty is an American brand, but they do have international shipping, customs included, all of that. When you place your order, everything is paid for. No customs fussing, and the package comes to your door. They do have sales once in a while. There are influencers that have a code with them. So it's relatively easy to either save up and wait for a sale and get it at a good price, or a more affordable price, at least for my tax bracket, or just adding, you know, a code from somebody you don't mind supporting and getting a little bit of money off. And their products are really good. Sephora, easily available in store for many people all around a part of the globe. And also shipping is shorter in terms of timing and all of that stuff. So it's another option. Sephora have redone them or redesigned their brushes, but my experience throughout the years with Sephora Pro brushes is amazing. The thing is, their handles are very, very long, the pro kind of artist type of handle, if you can see that. If you want to know my opinion on handles, I don't give a frack. Basically, I can use either of these and I get the same results. I don't feel like the handle, the size of the handle just mixes too much or influences too much the way I apply my makeup. It may be different for other people, so it has to do with your liking. This is the standard size of the BK Beauty brush, and this is the standard size of the Sephora brush handle. So you can see they're very different. I personally end up preferring shorter handles just because they're easier to travel with. They're easy to put in small cups and stuff like that in store. So that's the only reason I prefer shorter handles. Other than that, it's just more of a weight kind of thing. But I think most brushes nowadays are just, they're fine in terms of weight management. I'm not a pro artist with very specific needs that to whom that would be very important. You know, I can make do with anything, so it's fine. So these are the two basic brushes, or this is the shape of brush that I've been using the most for foundation. It's amazing. Now, it comes with a big sister, and you can see the difference. This is also from BK Beauty, and it's bigger, fluffier, denser, big sister. It's the A101, this one. This is the travel size. This came in a kit from Hot and Flashy, Angie from Hot and Flashy. That's why the handle is shorter than the other one, because it's not the standard handle. I love this for traveling, this size, perfect. Again, no problems. But let's talk about the actual brush, because this is the same. They have this in the standard handle size, and this type of brush is amazing. If you're one of those people who like one and done, quick makeup application, this is the closest it gets to a mix between sort of a flat kabuki brush, slightly slanted, with a sponge, the dimension and buffingness of a sponge. And this is so good to blur out everything very easily. It's great for quick foundation application. I personally have a small face, so I wouldn't use this for bronzer and blusher, but people with with bigger features can enjoy that. But also this is great to diffuse your makeup and do a final blend at the end, so that everything is smoothed out, diffused and blurred, and no streaks or anything. Neither of these, I think, is streaky, but this one is particularly, you know, fluffy and blurring. So it's amazing for that. Also, if you like a higher impact of powder application, maybe this is good. I haven't tried that. But yeah, it's really, really nice. I noticed that this, because it is so dense, it distributes foundation a bit more lightweightly, in a more lightweight fashion. So if you want a bit higher coverage, because this has more control and more precision, maybe this one, the smaller one, is better, and this one just sweeps everything in, and it's a bit more of a lightweight application overall. But you can go heavy-handed with this and just get it caked on. It's a choice that you can make with this brush. I really love it, and just don't regret having it in my collection. The only downside to this kind of brush is that they become more difficult to wash. They can get a stain in the center, you know, those little areas where you pick up your foundation for the first swipe, and they sink in a bit deeper. They're a bit harder to wash because they're thicker and denser and all that stuff. But the softness of the BK Beauty brushes, especially the foundation complexion brushes, is incredible, and I've been in love with this for, you know, foundation and complexion cream stuff. Now let's talk about a very affordable one that is still kind of that kitten paw sort of shape. I hope you can see. It's not as well cut. This is by Real Techniques, but it's still very efficient. And when you're applying product onto your face, you don't notice that it's not well cut or anything. It gets the job done. And again, it's one of those Real Techniques, very soft synthetic brushes or bristles. And these are densely packed. They don't bend too easily. They're so nice. This is great, again, for targeted application of coverage, but mostly for, you know, cream products on the cheeks. This is amazing, and I use this a lot for that purpose. Lovely, 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 and I love the shape. This came in a kit that I randomly bumped into at Boots. The other brushes are good. This is amazing, and for the kit, I paid the same that I may have paid for, you know, a BK Beauty brush on sale. So it it was nice, and I still use the other brushes except for one that is hideous. The other ones I still use, but this is the star of the show for me. I hope they come out with this. I hope that Real Techniques ends up, you know, downsizing their collection, making it a bit more core based, and taking advantage of their really good brushes and making them staples instead of jumping around with new collections, pretending they're kind of a, I don't know, Shein brush brand. That, I don't know, I'm not a marketing person. Probably it works for most brands, but for me it's so confusing. It's so annoying to have special editions of everything, and you know, sometimes you find a gem but it's discontinued. I hate that. I hate that. Anyway, now a classic. This one is by Zoeva. I've been using this brush for years and years and years. I have other Zoeva brushes that I love, like the flat kabuki and all of that, but this is one I go back to very often. I think it's called the Face Shader. I don't know. It's rubbed off the description. I'll look into it but I love this one. It's a round, kind of sort of kabuki style brush, but rounded, very soft, still pretty dense. So you can have that kind of patting motion, but you can also swipe and buff. You have loads of control because this is a smaller brush. It's amazing to use in thin layers. And you've seen this on Lisa Eldridge's hands very often until she basically came out with her own brushes. She was using this one very often. I had mine before she had hers, or at least before she showed hers, but this is how old it is. There are some Zoeva brushes that still to this day, this is very old. This is many years old, and it's here, standing proud, absolutely in mint conditions, except for the rubbing off of the names in the handle. It's a fantastic, phenomenal brush. I don't know what's happening with Zoeva. I haven't heard much about them, and that gives me a bit of fear that they are running out of, going out of business. But this one is an amazing brush. I use it a lot. And now that leads me to this. You can see the shape is very similar. The only thing is the density of the brushes. These are not as densely packed, so they're a bit more, they have a bit more of a give to them. But it's kind of the same function. So very light buffing, small light layers, that kind of application. You can use it for blush, highlighter, cream stuff. This Zoeva one is actually really good for cream stuff because it has a bit of firmness. So when you're using it from a stick that is a bit more firm, this is great to pick up a product without a problem. This one is also amazing. This one is, I don't know, 3 times more expensive than the Zoeva. This is a Sonia G brush. I have 3 Sonia G brushes for which I've saved. I've waited for sales, and I bought them to see what the fuss was about. These are amazing feeling brushes. These are super soft. These are super effective. Do I get 3 times the efficiency or the quality of application from the Sonia G brush? I'm sorry, I don't. I can get the same kind of quality of application with both. Does this feel slightly softer on the skin, a bit more pleasurable? Yes. Will it justify paying 3 times the price? It depends on who you're talking to. There are many, Sonia G and luxury brush purists that say that nothing can compare to something like this, etc., etc. Kindly disagree. I think this feels very nice. It's very soft, but this feels very nice and it's very soft. But yeah, this is a very good brush. I use it for the same purpose because it is a natural bristle, a very expensive brush. I noticed that I'm not using it as often because I don't want to have to wash it very often and screw it up, which is ridiculous because a brush should be thought to last a long time, but I'm afraid of just destroying it, which is ridiculous. I know. I have to put it more to the test, and not put it to the test, I've tested it enough, but put it through the ringer more often because it's a really nice brush. It does a great job. Just a more sheer application. It's a bit more flimsy, it's softer on the skin, but it's basically the same thing. And they both feel amazing. I like them both. There you go. Mommy can't choose. Now, this one I wanted to mention as, again, a shape of brush, the same as with this one, that I use a lot. I have plenty of brushes with this shape because this was one of the shapes that I used more steadily throughout the longest in my, makeup life. And this is a slanted kabuki brush. I have another one here that I use today. This one is from NEVAH. This one was a gift with purchase from Yes Style, and I have another one similar to this that I got from Primark, of all places. I don't go to Primark that often, so this was several years ago. It still works. They are very soft, very dense. Again, they're good for packing on product and buffing stuff very easily. It's a beautiful brush. This one from NEVAH is not my favorite. I was just holding it because it's the clean one that I have here at hand. I love this shape. I use it a lot, especially when I want a bit more coverage because my skin isn't doing as well. And these are very reliable. And as you can see, you can go from, you know, sort of expensive to not that expensive, and you can find this kind of shape very easily. And it's also good for applying, you know, bronzer and blusher. It has enough precision that you can use it for that. I wouldn't use this with powders though. Now it's the time to talk about NEVAH. NEVAH is another brand that is quite viral. They absolutely make my favorite design of brushes. It's unbeatable. For me, this is the design that I love the most. Yes, they get grubby as soon as you use them, and I had to wash them all to show them to you. Not lying, but I love this. I love this. I love this. I love the short handles. They're very portable, easy to take with you, traveling and in your bag. The bristles are very soft, all of that. Now, NEVAH is a brand that I really wanted to talk about, not just because the brushes are beautiful, but because I really like the way they run their business. NEVAH is, again, I don't know if they're American or Canadian. I'm not sure, but they are on that side of the pond. And they run on a very interesting system, which is their concept store. So they have their brushes for cheaper. Just to clarify, these brushes that I'm talking about are the prototype brushes, which are the ones in the concept store, and those are the ones they improve on, and that's what will make the rest of what I'm saying make sense. For people who then commit to buying the brush for a discounted price, but then giving feedback on their brushes and giving a bit of, you know, some criticism on the brushes, what they liked, what they didn't like, so that they can either tweak the brush or create new brushes based on, I wish this existed in a larger size, I wish this existed in X shape, whatever, or with softer bristles, whatever it is. And I really love NEVAH for that. And they recently have actually lowered the prices of their brushes because they said now we are able to buy in a higher bulk, so we have a bigger discount from our partners where we buy the suppliers where we buy the brushes or order the brushes from. So we're giving back to you that discount. And I was kind of blown away because this is how I think most brands should work ethically, and that doesn't exist mostly. I don't know if this is something that is going to pass and they will go back to the prices that they used to have. Fair enough, if they realize they're not making enough, you know, profits or whatever. But I think this is a very nice thing. And if this stays this way, it's amazing. Some of the brushes are pretty expensive. Some others are really kind of medium pricing, I'd say, which is fair enough for me because the quality of the brushes is usually really good. I have rarely met some duds from the brand. And yeah, mostly their brushes are animal, with animal bristles. This one, the B line, I think they stopped, they discontinued it, or they're not doing it anymore. The B line was their first attempt at synthetic brushes. But yeah, NEVAH as a brand, I love it. And the shipping, again, the shipping, the customs, all that included in the pricing. When you pay for it, it comes straight to your door. No problems with customs. And the shipping is quite quick. Quite quick. Now, let's talk about a specific type of application that I think is very versatile. It's very lightweight. It's great for every day when your skin is not acting up, at least in my case. And I love these brushes for that function. Katie Jane Hughes made this application method a bit more famous. It's not that she invented it, but saturating your brush with concealer, say, and then applying it in light strokes on your face will act almost like an eraser and kind of dull down the redness, the dark spots. It won't be high coverage at all. That's why I say this is for those days when your skin is not acting up, but it will give you an even, beautiful, seamless, very natural looking coverage to the skin. And you can use this also for what's it called, blushes and highlighters, that kind of stuff, any kind of cream on your face. Oh, it's creasing. Okay, this is as good as it gets. Anyway, and I think this is a really great technique. I think that for this kind of technique, this kind of shape of brush is the best way to go. And I wish more brands came out with this shape of brush. This is the KJH and Spectrum collection number 1808, number 08 brush. This is the one that started it all in terms of making viral this type of application. And it's a great brush for that in terms of the shape and density. The bristles are a bit prickly, and I think everybody always raves about Katie Jane Hughes brushes, but the ones that I got, almost all of them were a bit prickly. This, listen, in the grand scheme of things, this works beautifully. It doesn't prickle as in murdering your skin. It's not like that, but you can feel that it could be a bit softer. The other ones that I have that can perform the same function are just not as dense. They have a little bit more of give on the top. And I wish that more, even this one, which I'm going to talk about later from Singe Beauty, if she made this a bit denser and flatter, it would be just perfect. But it's a tiny bit too floppy to give this kind of eraser effect. But these two can give you that. I don't know if this still exists. It's the ColourPop highlighter brush. I love this, both for this, you know, kind of eraser coverage technique for good skin days, but also for blush and highlighter application. It's an amazing oh, something fell there. It's an amazing brush overall, and it can work for powders too, which is incredible. And this is an oldie but a goodie from Real Techniques. It's the setting brush. Yes, the setting brush from Real Techniques. This is one of their core collection kind of brushes, I think. It's still a core collection brush. And this is amazing, super versatile. Again, yes, for powdering, that's what it was created for. For some people, it can even be used to apply concealer. If you have larger features and all of that, it's a beautiful brush. And then for that kind of buffing product in that very lightweight way, it's an amazing one. 3 different price points, just letting you know. Concealing. Listen, I need concealer. I eat chocolate. I have no regrets, but then I get really pissed sometimes. But this is the one that started it all. This is again from BK Beauty. It's their A506 brush. This is again the travel size. They have a regular handle size. It's a really beautiful, just tiny mini kitten paw brush. You can use it under the eyes. You can pat product on some problem areas, which is really good. It's dense enough. I wish it were a bit denser for my liking.
I got so carried away with how this shape from BK Beauty originated loads of similar iterations from other brands that I forgot to mention that I ended up using it constantly for targeted powder application on the sides of my nose where I have lots of oils and want to blur out the pores, and on larger concealer areas where I want the powder to stick. The shape and density make it phenomenal for that.
And that's where these two come in. This is from Singe Beauty. This is from Glam Shop. Listen, these are very affordable, especially the Glam Shop. This one, the FO2 from Singe Beauty, is, I think, one of the best brushes that Angie came up with, in my opinion. This is from Angelica Nyquist, the brand, and this is an amazing concealer brush because it is way denser, so less flimsy in a way than the BK Beauty, and you can just pack on concealer. This is not something that everybody needs. I personally do. I need to pack on concealer on blemishes. I need to pack it on my melasma hair and dark spots. Maybe not always under the eyes, but for packing on the rest of the face, this is incredible for not pinpoint, because it's not pinpoint, but those larger areas that need extra higher coverage. This is an amazing one. This one is from Glam Shop. It has rubbed off the name, but it is kind of the same thing, but it has kind of this diamond shape, as you can see. It's delightful to use under the eyes because it just fits so perfectly. It's even denser than the Singe Beauty, but it's also very, very soft. They're all very soft. This is like a fluffy kitten. It's cuddling with you, or a fluffy rabbit, something like that. But this is also very soft. Again, synthetic, but very soft bristles. Densely packed. You can firmly apply your coverage. If you need, you know, coverage on larger areas, but not necessarily something that would require a foundation brush for packing it on, these are incredible. Again, different price ranges. Now these are, where is the other one? There you are. These are eye brushes that I use for concealer. So this one is from BK also, the A501, I believe. I'm going to put it on here just so that, oh, this way. Yeah, this is the A501. I love packing brushes for the eyelid because I usually like one shadow, two shades on the eye and just good and done, and I like to pack it on. And these are also great for applying shimmers, metallics. Oh, my eyeliner is bleeding. But anyway, shimmers, metallics, that kind of stuff is always great to have a packing brush that kind of, you can kind of apply the product like this and just in one swipe. And it's also great for applying one layer, a higher intensity layer of one shade of matte. It's great for that. But this brush, for some reason, the shape of it and all of that is amazing to go into this crevice here under my eyes. Sometimes I like to just apply a tiny bit of concealer just to this area, and I love doing this with this brush. It's so effective. It really goes in there, and if I turn it on the side, I can still pack product more heavier or more heavily with this side. And if I use this motion here, I can have a bit of a blending with lighter coverage. This is such a versatile kind of brush. I love it. And I just don't buy more of them because I save this one mostly for my concealer because I have other packing brushes that I'll talk about later. But still sticking to concealer, these are two brushes from NEVAH. This is the 26 and this is the 03. Focus on the brush. Rude. Thank you. And this one, it's undecided. Okay, there you go. 26 and 03. These are meant to be inner corner or crease brushes, pencil brushes to apply on the around your eye, making a thicker line and blurring and all of that. I love these for concealing. Pinpoint concealing the way that Lisa Eldridge does. These are amazing. This one is great, again, for this crease here that I have because it has this fine point that goes in there, and then the other bristles around that are a bit rounder when they start to open up, widen up. They're great to create a blurring effect of the concealer. So it's very easy to just target this shade and at the same time kind of blurring out the edges without much effort. And then when going to, you know, this kind of blemish here, you can still pack on and pinpoint. This one to pick up cream concealer, which I adore, and I don't see any brands coming up with except for NYX this year. But cream concealer, picking up a good dense cream concealer, saturating this, and then going into those mini irritating spots. This is amazing. Again, these are great for the eyes. I have 2 of each of these because of that. Sometimes I use on my eyes and I still need them to conceal. I have them here. And these are so good. Some of my favorite NEVAH brushes, if I had to do a favorites from NEVAH, these would be there for sure. 03 and 26 because of that little edge there. They don't prickle, you know, these brush shape brushes. Yeah, a pencil brush shapes brushes usually are prickly and they're not comfortable. Even on the eyes, they're too stiff. These are very soft. So these are very special from NEVAH. Now, talking about powder, listen, anything NEVAH for the face, for powder, I think I'm so happy with. These are the softest. The softest brushes are for the face that I own. These are so soft. They come in different shapes and sizes, and I go between several. Sometimes I want something a bit more high coverage. Sometimes I even use this if I want very light coverage of foundation. These are great. Which one is it? These two that have more of a point to them. These two is 18, which is a smaller one, and 19, which is the bigger one. These are so good for even for applying foundation. I told you I like applying foundation in many ways. This is just another one. But mostly I use these for powder, both applying powder, blushes, bronzers. I use the larger ones. These are so good. They come in different shapes and sizes. Most of their powder brushes are really, really good. But then we have these two. This is the F07. It's so nice. It's small, dainty. You can press it onto smaller areas. You can buff on larger areas. It's also good for concealing. If you like concealing with this kind of brush, it's still good. It's not as good as this one in terms of density, but it wasn't created for that. It happens to be good for that service too, you know, but it's really good. And this one, it's the F04, I think, and it's a flat brush. It's great for packing on powder again, but also this is great if you want to swipe on foundation. And it's something that isn't done as often, but this has the right amount of density and firmness, but at the same time being super soft that you can just swipe things very easily and with minimal streaking. It's an amazing, again, very versatile brush. Let's talk a bit about Singe Beauty. Singe is based in the US, but they are sold in Monolith, the monolithshop.eu, I think, here in Europe, which is great to get a hold of them. Now, a bit of a caveat. These handles are the lowest quality that I've found because they sometimes crack. And you can see, I think you can see it here. Do I need to lower the light here? I hope you can see the crack. These tend to crack. Sorry, putting it back on. Maybe one more now. Yeah, it's very dark outside already. These bristles are, not bristles, the handles are a bit weak and they tend to crack. This doesn't bother me. I just put a bit of glue, everything's fine. But if you're concerned with high quality of your brushes, this may be a deterrent for you. And I've had this with several of Singe Beauty brushes, and I treat them the same way. This one, for instance, which I will talk about in a minute. I treat them the same way that I treat my every other brush, and everything else is fine. And I have some older brushes with also wooden handles, and even this one by Sephora, this one my oldest, and none of these have cracked in this way. The only one that I have cracked is this very old Sephora Pro one, as you can see, but this is very old, and it took it a while to start cracking. These start cracking very quickly, which is a downside. I think that Angie should review the handle of her brushes. But the quality of the brushes is amazing. I don't mind that, having that little crack there. If I need, I apply a bit of glue. As long as it's in one piece and I can keep it one piece and I can wash it, good to go. And I still love these brushes. There's a caveat though, so that you know. Now, let's jump into eyes. One and done, eye brushes. I love this shape. These are flatter than your average blending brush, so you can pack on product like this. You can blend product like this. I love this shape. I have one from Singe, which is the EO, I'm gonna risk 6. I don't have my glasses here. I think it's EO6. And this one is from NEVAH. This is from the synthetic line, the BO3. I hope they come out with something in this shape, in their, you know, steady line. This is my one and done for every day. I can apply with one brush, just swipe it on a towel or, you know, one of those switchy things, and then blend it out. Everything done with one brush. I love that. And then for packing on, which is the second thing that I do the most. This one is dirty, sorry, but I had to talk about it. Packing on product. I love these wide kind of paddle brushes. As you can see, these are amazing, again, for one shadow sweeping and then removing the excess of the product and then going in to blend out. These shapes are incredible. This is, however, oldest time and is the Luxolova shader brush. And this one is by NEVAH. It's the 33 brush. I don't know if they still have it, but I got it a while ago. Love these. These smaller ones are the more classic. The same with this one from BK that I spoke about a while ago. These are amazing. Flat kind of paddle brushes, but they're still soft. They don't prickle you or they don't prick you. These are amazing. And I love these for glitter and anything, one shade, just one matte shade, or just swiping glitter very easily. These are some of my favorite shapes. The NEVAH one is the O2, and the Zoeva one is the Luxe Smoky Shader, which is dirty because I used it today. Sorry. These ones for fine detailing work. For instance, NEVAH has come out with some similar brushes to some of these, and I still prefer the ones by Singe. I think she has these in a kind of a set, but my favorites are these tiny blending brushes because I have smaller eyes. So blending with something this size is way different from blending with something this size. And it depends on what you want, what you're doing, but for doing detailed blending work, these are great. So EO5 and EO2, I believe. You can see them on the website. It's easy to notice them. And then these two are flat brushes, a bit like these flat shader brushes that I mentioned. But they have this one especially. This one is very close to the other two, the flat shader brushes in terms of shape. So this is the EO4, but this one is rounder. So it has a great way to apply, you know, smaller sections to buff around the eye, under the eye. You can turn it on its back. You can use it to create more of a defined crease look, but then you can use it to pack on also. And it's a very versatile brush. This is EO9, I think. I'm sorry, Angie. I don't have my glasses. Anyway, a very recent purchase that I absolutely love and I wasn't expecting to love is the Shodo collection brushes from NEVAH. It's the Shodo, I think, 00 brush. There you go. Shodo 02. There you go. And Shodo 03. And these have a very particular edge right here. They look like bunny tails. Don't they look like bunny tails? Bunny tails. Can you put them here? Lower the lighting a bit, maybe. I don't know if you can see them properly, but they have this very sparse tip, basically, which makes them, the shape is close to, you know, an average blending brush. On these are thinner. This is more closer to one of those like these. It's closer to one of these, but it's a bit rounder. This is bigger, but the same thing. And this one is a thinner, closer to something like this, like a blending brush. But as you can see, they're all based in calligraphy, and they have these cut edges, and makes it so nice for fine blending. And these bigger ones are great for if you are very heavy-handed and you don't like to spend too long blending. I find this to be so easy. It makes it so easy to blend. The only thing you have to do is not to press it too much against your skin, or it will defeat the purpose. You have to keep them very gently touching your skin, and this will blend effortlessly. I love this. It's kind of jagged edges on the brushes almost. These are amazing. I've been using these for a couple months. When they launched, I bought them when they launched, and they're so good. This one, again, from Zoeva, does it still? Luxe Petite Pencil. Petite Pencil. This I love because one of those pencil brushes that is not prickly. Usually something as small as this is very prickly, and I love this one because it's not prickly. It's pretty soft. It has a bit of a bend to it, so you can use it to smudge eyeliner very easily. This is what I use it for mostly. I don't do much inner corner highlighter, but you could use it for that. Even for concealing, pinpoint concealing. Before I had these, I used this, but this one now is more reserved for eyeliner. And I absolutely love this shape. Absolutely love this shape. Again, Zoeva. I have a few hits from Zoeva here, and I don't hear anybody talking about Zoeva anymore. It's not that all of their brushes are good, but many of them are. And they're affordable, god damn it. Anyway, lastly, you're going to laugh at me. But this is the only way I can apply gel eyeliner, the ones from a pot, properly. It's with this. It's from Maybelline. It comes with their pot eyeliners, the tattoo liners, I think that's what they're called, the ones that you dip in. And this specific brush, please focus because I need to share this with you. This specific brush is the shape that I realize is the most ergonomic for me to create a wing. Not something that not really a wing, but to line my eyes in a more graphic way that isn't blurred. You need that definition of the line. I don't usually do wings just because my lid has sagged too much and I can't be bothered, but to create that more defined, crisp line with gel eyeliner, this round applicator or round brush is the one that I just go for more often. So I save this with my life. I don't think I have the Maybelline eyeliner anymore, but this is not going anywhere. And if and when sometimes I pick up a gel eyeliner, this is the one that's coming out. And on the other side, it has a sponge tip applicator, which for people with big nails, if you want to pick up some glitter or some cream eyeshadow from a pot, stuff like that, and you can't use your fingers because it doesn't fit, these are great to pick up just the product and apply them on. These are not great for smudging eyeshadow, but for the rest of it, they're really nice. And I like having this on the other end. But just keep in mind, I have angled brushes. I have other brushes around for just in case. But if I'm doing eyeliner, usually this is the one that I go for the most. And this, finally, this is the Refer 35 brush. And it's the weirdest shape, and I love it. I love this because I like to bring it with me in my purse. The only thing I think they should make is something to a lid, you know, for the bristles so that you can travel with them. But yeah, I love traveling with this one, even on my day-to-day. If I have my little view set palette with my touch-up products. I just apply product with my fingers, and if I need to blend something, I use that. Or if I want to powder, I just press this against the powder and I press it on my face. I love this little brush. It's super soft, although it's very dense. It could be prickly, but it's not. It's very soft, and I love applying this to my face and taking it with me. And it's very versatile. If I want to use foundation with this, I can. I just don't, because I don't need it. But it's a great all-rounder to carry in your purse. You just have to wipe it between uses so that it doesn't curdle up, let's say. And that's it, I think. I'm not going to mention, you know, Real Techniques sponges are usually my go-to. I love this little thing, which is the Real Techniques double-sided sponge that has this, the sponge material on one side and a fluffy powder puff on the other side. You can switch this from one to the other. It comes, you can buy a case, I think, separately to bring it with you on travel, while traveling, or in your bag, and the case has a mirror, so it's amazing. And this is the closest I can get to applying foundation similarly to the cushion foundations, you know, those ones. Those give me the most beautiful finish on my skin. They kind of smooth over my pores like nothing else, and this gives me a similar finish. The only thing I wish this was a bit thinner. I don't think this needs to be this thick, but anyway, it gives a beautiful smooth finish, and I love using it on the go, and even at home. I have this one here, and it's one of those little things that came out, nobody's talking about it. And although other gimmicky things from Real Techniques, I think, are not worth being talked about because they don't deserve oxygen, this one does. This one, I think it does. It would suit so many people, and I don't see anybody talk about them. And with the powder, it's just like this. And you can just use this at the end of your makeup again to blur everything in, no streaks, nothing else, and then go in with your powder. It's amazing. Really love it. Oh, if you're wondering, most of these, I didn't mention this, but most of these fine point brushes are great for lip work. If you want to do some lip blurring and that kind of stuff, these brushes all work beautifully for that. But I usually just go in with, you know, lip liner, lipstick. I hardly use any kind of brush on my lips. Very, very, very rarely. So I don't even mention that. But that's it. Now let's talk about cleansing our brushes and tools and all that kind of stuff. Now, starting with sponges, if I use a sponge in that day, I leave it in my bathroom, and in the evening, I'm being followed, but in that evening, I just take and wash the sponge right away. And it's good to go in the next morning. And with the extra bonus thing that not only is it clean, but overnight it just dried up just enough that it's not soaking wet, and it's still very plump and nice and the perfect texture, but it never messes with my foundation or whatever product I'm using. So for me, it's the perfect texture. So that's good and done. It takes, 30 seconds. The same for this kind of product, tool thing, the dual-sided sponge. If I use creams, I wash this immediately. I have 2 of these, and if I use powder, just powder, I may let it be for a couple of days, but that's it. When it comes to cream brushes, especially complexion brushes, I use them for about 3 days and then I wash them, which means at the end of the day, I will have at most 3 brushes to wash, which is my foundation brush, the blush and bronzer brush, and a concealer brush, and that's it. Which makes it about, less than 5 minutes. They're clean because they haven't been setting and congealing with the foundations and products on them for weeks. So it makes them very easy to wash off. Even with self-setting foundations, it's pretty easy to wash them quickly. So that's it, what I do with my cream products. The same applies to if I use a cream eyeshadow or a very bold eyeshadow color that I'm not planning on using anymore. I pick up those two brushes, eye brushes, and I add them to the pile and it's done. Or I just wash those in that evening because those are the only ones that I needed or that I used. Or, you know, for eyeliner, that kind of stuff, I just wash them on the day that I use them. So again, takes me less than 5 minutes. For the powder brushes, I let a little bit longer time. I spend a bit longer with those powder brushes, especially if it's translucent powder. It's setting at the end of the process of doing my makeup. So for me, everything is fine. But I give them at most a week and then I wash them. So it's 2 more brushes, if that, or 3. At the end of the week that I have to wash that don't necessarily fall with the other brushes. I can, you know, make sure that yesterday I washed my foundation or complexion creams, so today I'm going to wash my complexion powders. So that's how I work, which keeps my brushes always clean. And keep in mind, when I wash a brush, I don't immediately put it back in the to use jar. I put it away in another jar. I keep other brushes close to me, and it takes me about a week or 2 something to go back to that brush unless I really want it and I don't have many alternatives. I try to spend or let some time go by between going back to that brush, but it's already clean. I just have to spritz it or something if it's been a while, but it's done. And that makes it so that I'm not constantly washing the same brushes, if that makes sense, which helps with their longevity. Because on one side, you want to keep them clean because your face doesn't want to blow up. And on the other side, if you wash them very often, you may start to have some problems with glue and the ferrules breaking down, and then you have shedding and the ferrules separating from the handle, that kind of stuff. So you want to preserve your brushes, but they're meant to be used. So that's how I decided to do, and it's been amazing because this takes an extra, I don't know, at most 5 minutes. If I went crazy for a special evening, okay, 10 minutes in my evening, right after washing my face, cleansing my face. I can even apply, if I'm taking a bit longer, I apply a mask on my face and I wash my brushes, cleanse my brushes. I usually let them dry. I roll one of the edges of a towel so it's higher on one side, and then I apply I put the handle on that edge so that the brush is laying at an angle so that the water can go down this way and help it not stay. If it's lying flat, it can stay here and damage the glue. So like this, it may come down and not stay there. So that's what I do. I lay them on a flannel or on a towel with that rolled up edge, keeping them slightly angled, and they're good to go. Usually they dry overnight. The animal bristle ones, I noticed, take a bit longer to dry, especially if they're very dense, and this kind of brush, it will take longer to dry, but it's very quick and easy for me, and for me, it helps me keeping my brushes clean in a good, rotation situation. And yeah, no more very grubby brushes that take hours to clean. No more taking 2 hours of my Sunday to clean my brushes. Some people love popping on a podcast and just washing their brushes, but my hands start drying out. It's not pleasant for me personally, and my back is screaming after, 30 minutes. It starts to scream. So that's how it works for me. And if you're wondering, I just use any soap. And I've bought specific soaps from Beauty Blender, from Refa. I don't like them. I prefer either the most inexpensive glycerin soap from the supermarket. It used to be sold at 30 cents or something. That's amazing. And I keep it on the side just to use my brushes. Or if I have if I have a soap, a hand soap that I'm using, and I usually use a bar soap. If I have a bar of soap that I'm using for my everyday thing, I just use that for my brushes. I just cut a little bit on the side and keep it for my brushes. And that's it. And running water, not hot, maybe at most slightly tepid, just to make sure. And that's it. That's basically it. Are you tired of me? Yeah, 1 hour. You probably are. And that's it. These are my favorite brushes or brush shapes. Some of these have been with me for years and years and years. So I'm proud of the variety of old and young here, and I hope this has been in any way helpful to you to look at your brushes in a different light and see what you can do with them, to play with them in a different way. And let me know in the comments below, am I missing out on one specific brush that you think I would love? I hope not, because I don't want to spend any more money. And I probably would. But anyway, I hope this has been entertaining, at least, if not informative. And I hope you're all well. I hope I will see you soon. I hope you have a great day. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending your time on me, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.